So, hi everyone. My name is Nicolas, and with my colleague, Nikolai also, we're going to present and explain this motive of the hackathon working for Sygma SDK. You know, doing stuff, funny stuff with Sygma SDK. The first thing I want to ask is how many people here speak Spanish? Okay, a lot. So, voy a hablar en español de repente y de repente en inglés, así que voy a ir mezclando. Bien. Okay, so what is Sygma? So Sygma basically is a cross-chain interoperability protocol allowing general message passing, but also RC20 and NFT transfer. So with our SDK and with our infrastructure, you can relay message, you can transfer tokens, you can transfer NFTs cross-chain between EVM-compatible networks, right? So the basic idea here is that you have chain A and chain B, and you have Sygma in between. And then, of course, you can transfer the most popular formats, I would say, RC20, RC721. And we use this acronym GMP, and GMP is, it stands for general message passing. Ok, so la idea aquí es que pueden utilizar nuestra infraestructura para construir aplicaciones cross-chain, ¿bien? Entre una red y otra. Y al medio se pone, digamos, nuestra infraestructura, y con nuestra infraestructura ustedes pueden transferir, por ejemplo, tokens ERC20 o ERC721, y lo que también nosotros llamamos, es difícil traducir esto, pero es como capacidad de poder hacer transferencias generales de mensaje. Es decir, básicamente la idea detrás de esto es que ustedes pueden llamar o ejecutar funciones de contratos sin necesidad de que tengan que registrarlos, o en su defecto, cualquier tipo de, digamos, función que deseen que sea llamada en otra red. Puede ser cualquier cosa, desde lo más sencillo como imprimir un nombre hasta algo más complejo como abrir una operación de liquidity pool, etc. So, esa es como la idea detrás de lo que es Sygma. So, okay, so and we also with our infrastructure we have also our SDK. So, of course, all of this is open source. And with our SDK, the main idea is to allow developers that usually are familiar with JavaScript or TypeScript to build cross-chain applications in an easier way, like without too many hassles, without the need to set up a lot of stuff, you know. So, and our SDK had mainly like three methods, or I would say 3 big general methods, and those methods are aligned with the type of transfer or type of message passing that we do. So RC20 tokens, you know, NFT stuff. And of course, you can use this SDK in the front end and of course in the back end. So for instance, if you are building something in Node.js, you can use this SDK in Node.js. We have documentation for this, and of course, you have to provide perhaps a little bit more of setup, but it's pretty straightforward. And also, you can use this SDK in the front end, so you can communicate directly with our contracts. And another big thing that I think we have, and it's like I would say a winning in this, like I would say, scene, is that we have like if you want to develop something that is so custom that you need to, I don't know, iterate a lot over this, you can use also our local setup. So we have something called local setup. It's basically all our infrastructure. You can run it in a Docker container. So it's like just one command, and then you have 2 nodes and then relayers. So then you can play with this, like play around with this, you know, building stuff. If you need, of course, speed, because sometimes testnets are a little bit slow, or if you need something that is so custom that you need like to iterate really fast over your code. So what's the main idea of the challenge to hack with us? So main idea is to see how many developers they want to be excited and interested in building cross-chain applications with us. I mean, the sky is the limit in this case. You can build, I don't know, you have Uniswap LPs, it's an NFT, you can try to build cross-chain liquidity pool because you can, transfer NFTs. You can do, DeFi typical stuff with ERC20s. And also with our contracts, you can interact with general message passing. So if you want to escape a little bit the DeFi space, I would say, and you want to do something that is not related to this, you can do this with our contracts. So, yeah, we have a lot of resources. We have our homepage, we have docs. We also have our readmes in, of course, our repos. We have our contracts, right? So everything is open source, so you can just, clone the repos, play with it. Of course, we have also a DevNet environment, so you can, if you don't want to use our infrastructure like in your machine, you can just, use DevNet and just connect to the contracts. So in a way, it's a little bit more straightforward. So, yes, and voy a ir atrás ahora para volver a hablar un poco más en español. Bueno, y la idea de la hackathon con nosotros es que cualquiera que esté interesado en construir aplicaciones cross-chain, ya sea lo típico en DeFi o con token ERC20 o NFTs o algo que sea un poco más sofisticado que requiera utilizar nuestros contratos, nuestro contrato que lo llamamos General. Se me fue el nombre del contrato. Pero nuestro contrato para hacer cross-chain message passing, pueden básicamente tomar, digamos, todo lo que tenemos en nuestros repositorios, correr nuestra infraestructura local y tratar de construir una aplicación, o en su defecto pueden utilizar también el ambiente DevNet que tenemos. Y el ambiente DevNet a ustedes les permitiría conectarse o utilizar nuestro SDK y nuestra infraestructura de manera más directa, porque simplemente necesitan proveer las direcciones de los contratos, y con eso ustedes, tanto en frontend como una aplicación backend, pueden simplemente conectarse. Y obviamente tenemos muchos recursos, vamos a estar yo y Nicolás presentes para ayudarlo, así que cualquier consulta, cualquier duda, estamos con ustedes hasta el domingo y más. Okay, so we have a faucet UI, so you can get tokens from this faucet, and also we had so it's pretty straightforward. You just go to this URL and you get the tokens so in case you want to use DevNet, you get the tokens and then you can do whatever you want. You can pay for your NFT transactions or transfer. Sorry. So yeah, it's pretty like there is not too much hassle to do this using like DevNet and Faucet UI. And the main idea, the main like bounty prizes for this hackathon is tier 1 is to build or showcase something using general message passing, and this is the amount that we are giving for this. And also there is this tier 2 prize. In this case, is utilizing Sygma SDK and showcase something with NFTs or ERC20, whatever your imagination can, I don't know, build. So, yeah. And now I would like to explain a little bit in more technical terms, how can you use our stuff, our SDK, and our infrastructure to build cross-chain applications. So I'm going to show some code snippets, then I'm going to show you a demo of an NFT application, and then I'm going to try to run a live demo of a ERC20 transfer. So yeah, I hope demo god behaves well with me today. So basically, for you to build with our SDK, you need to provide addresses, because of course you need to know who are the contracts that you need to connect. And this is our standard configuration to use our SDK. So you define this stuff like domain ID, the network ID, in this case is the chain ID of a node, and then you provide the addresses. If you run our local setup, addresses are provided after everything is running. So you have this, and then you can plug this and use it locally. So I would say it's a sealed environment. So you use SDK locally and with the infrastructure locally. If you want to use our DevNet, of course, you have to go to our resources and get the addresses of our contracts. And then you plug these addresses in this setup format. And of course, you define, for instance, here, the RPC URL, and in this case, the ERC20 token, the address, etc. If you want to deposit, for instance, in the case of ERC20, if you want to transfer some tokens from one network to another, besides, of course, the setup, you need to initialize connections. And in this case, we have two separate ways of doing this, because, of course, this SDK works in the front end and also in the back end. So if you want to do stuff, or if you want to transfer tokens in the front end, you just initialize connection from Web3 provider. In this case, you are going to use MetaMask provider. So a MetaMask is going to carry out approval and all the actions behind the scenes with the account. And of course, since in our infrastructure we have a fee structure, you need to get the fee in order for you to then do the deposit. Because our entry point, and I think this is one of our advantages, our entry point for our application is the deposit on the bridge. So you need to provide this fee. And in order for you to provide this fee, you just need to fetch this fee data. In the case of our local setup, fee data is like a constant, and you get this, and then you can play with it. And of course, in the case of DevNet, also fee is already provided, so there is no miscalculation, you know. And then of course you do the deposit, and you define these like parameters: amount, recipient address, and fee data. And after that, you should see if you're running, for instance, infrastructure in your machine. You should see the logs of the message being carried out to the other network. Ok, so en el caso de la configuración para transferir token ERC20, es bastante sencilla y directa. Si están utilizando la infraestructura local cuando termina de correr el Docker, les provee las direcciones, y esas direcciones simplemente las ponen en este objeto. Y aparte de eso, tienen que proveer obviamente la URL, el network ID, que en este caso es el chain ID del nodo, y con eso básicamente están listos para poder correr esta aplicación o correr sus aplicaciones tanto en nuestra infraestructura local como en DevNet. Siempre tomando en cuenta que lo más importante, proveer las direcciones de los contratos, porque sin eso no pueden, digamos, hacer nada. Y en el caso de, como también lo decía hace un rato, el punto de entrada de lo que es hacer cross-chain application con nuestro SDK es básicamente la función depósito, que hace referencia al depósito en el puente, en el contrato puente. Y en este caso, tienen que, obviamente, tanto usando la infraestructura local como el DevNet, tienen que obtener el fee para poder llevar a cabo la acción del depósito, y después de eso simplemente proveen el monto, la dirección y en este caso el fee. Y con eso básicamente es muy directo, tienen una transferencia de tokens ERC20. En nuestro SDK tenemos un ejemplo con esto, por ende, cualquier duda o cualquier necesidad de profundizar en esto, pueden simplemente ir al ejemplo y revisarlo, y está todo muy claro. So for RC 721, it's kind of the same configuration, but you add this RC 72100 address, of course, again, another address. And, you know, it's like there is no much change in terms of what you are calling. You're always calling deposit method, and you're always providing, in this case, a recipient address, basic fee, and in this case, the amount represents the token ID. So, in a way, transferring RC20 and NFTs kind of behaves the same in our SDK. So this is an advantage in a way that we don't want to provide like different APIs or like a lot of methods, and we want to, in a way, make a developer's life easier. And for this, we have this like straightforward way to use our SDK. In the case of generic handler, it's a little bit more, I would say, complex, but still straightforward, since from this week, we have our contract is permissionless, meaning that you just register the resource. In this case, resource is the function that you want to call in another network. And then this registration make the function available for everyone. And you need to provide this sort of format for the data. And the most important part of this is, of course, the metadata depositor. In this case, is the address who is doing the deposit, and then execution data. And execution data is are the bytes that correspond to the arguments of the function that you want to call in the other network. And then, again, it's straightforward. For instance, in this case, deposit function signature, you can get this using Web3.js or Ether.js, providing, of course, the API of the contract. And then you just, for instance, in this case, we have this like hex red color, and you just want to transfer this color to another contract, another chain. So you just call this create generic deposit data, and you provide this like signature, the deposit function signature, the address or your contract in the destination chain, and other parameters that are described in our documentation, like max fee, depositor address, and of course the data, in this case the color that I want to transfer. And then using our contract, you just do again a deposit. So again, it's really straightforward, nothing really changed. Provide domain ID, in this case, for destination chain, and deposit data. And deposit data in this case is going to be bigger because you are not just transferring an asset like an NFT or ERC20, you are transferring like a function call to another network. There is like questions up to this point? Preguntas? Okay. If you have questions, you can ask me later. Oh. Okay, no problem. Mm-hmm. La transacción se revierte, no se lleva a cabo. Así que en ese sentido no hay, digamos, inconveniente con lo que podría ser una preocupación de disponibilidad. En teoría no deberíamos tener una preocupación de disponibilidad, pero claro, puede existir ese caso de uso. Another question or otra pregunta? Okay. And I don't want to extend me like more because I want to show you how everything works. So first I'm going to show you the video of this is our NFT example that we have in the SDK. It's like pretty bare bones. It's super basic and simple, but it allows you to like check the code and then see how easier it is to use our stuff. So I'm just going to press play. Okay. So what you see, of course, you have the front-end application, right? you are doing stuff with MetaMask, you are doing the transfer with the MetaMask. You have, of course, the dev tools with the logs. And this, in the right corner, is our local infrastructure. So this Docker image that you just ran, and you have nodes and relayers working for you with contract addresses. And then you wait a little bit because, of course, this is not this is really fast, but of course it doesn't happen like right away. And those logs that you are seeing right now are the logs of the relayers relaying the message to the other network. So we should see a result in the transfer complete. So we managed to transfer one NFT to the other network. And this example is, as I say, is currently in the GitHub repo. So you can just clone, install, and run it, and it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to try now to run like a demo of the RC20. So I hope everything works. So here I have our local setup. So, and I'm going to run it with Docker. You can also use, there is a make command to do this. But since I like to tweak a little bit the Docker file, I always ended up to using Docker. So now our infrastructure is running. And here is the example of the RC20 application. Also like a really bare bones application of, for transferring tokens. So first, we're going to run this command called mint RC20. So what I'm going to do now is going to mint some tokens, 99, for me then to transfer. So okay, everything went smoothly. Now I'm going to run the server. Okay, so demo god, please. Okay, so we have this bare-bones application, and you can see that we have 99 tokens to this account. And then I can try to transfer one or whatever. We can put, I don't know, 11. Because we have a lot. So you get this message because you are getting first the fee, as I show you in this code snippet. And then if everything works great, we confirm the operation. And I'm going to try to put this, no. Oh, okay, of course, demo. Want to put it aside. Yeah, so, okay. So there is an issue. I'm going to try again. If not, you can check the repo. So, I don't have access to this. Okay, so let's try this. I wanted to show you the logs, but since this screen size is kind of weird. Okay, so first getting the fee, and yeah, so confirmation, and let's wait for it. So here are the logs. Now you are seeing the logs of the transaction being carried out from one node to another. So this is are the logs of the relayers. And that's it. So simple. It's pretty straightforward. So yeah, and yeah, this is our SDK. This is the main idea that we want you to get excited about it. Like, build with us, build what in your imagination a cross-chain application looks like, and use our open source code, use our SDK, your infrastructure, your DevNet, and yeah, and we are going to be here. So if you have, I don't know, questions, doubt, if you want to debug stuff, yeah, we're here to help you. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.